We have an expectation of men to lie to women. Most men are not monogamous, but daily they're expected to tell a woman that they will be as a means to express their love. And I think when women stop expecting that as a means of love expression, I think that's when we'll be able to move forward, because that's not what you're not going to get it. It's not realistic. But as long as you guys associate exclusivity with love, then men are going to continue to lie. And men are going to continue to tell you that, hey, I can be exclusive. And it's like, no, he's telling you that because he wants you. He's telling you that because he loves you. He's telling you that because he would like to believe that that's what he can do and that's who he is. But the reality is that it's an extreme struggle to the point where it will affect his happiness in the long run. Most of the guys who are super faithful, they're not happy. They're just not. They're faithful, sure, and yeah, they're not cheating on their wife, but they're grumpy. They're not happy. They're not excited. There's a certain zest and excitement for life that you can see in a man who has multiple women versus a man who doesn't. And you can see it as clear as day. This is why most of the time when you're having conversations with married men, they're complaining.
Men do it for free. So it's not necessarily that she has to have money and then you're just gonna let her have a pass. Sometimes if people don't know about it, a lot of men stay even though they get cheated on. All right. And then I understand Marcus' point of view about I think you were talking about like the natural desire, but the majority of men, I would say, is not, they don't. I forgot what you were saying. I'm sorry. It's getting late. It's getting late. But yeah, I think the question was, he was saying, trying to refresh my memory. What was he saying? Can you rephrase it? I'm so tired.
When I was saying the majority of men are wired to want sex from like pretty much any woman they're attracted to. The issue is it may seem like men are more monogamous, but the truth is they might just not have the options to do it. Are you talking about that?
Right, yeah. So the majority of them, they do want a relationship, and they want to be with somebody. Yes, they do. They do want to be with somebody. So, but what I was going to say is that go ahead to the next person. It's fine. I quit. I'm tired.
Um,
I get it.
I think that we keep talking about this discipline thing, and it's an interesting issue. I think that the real way for men to exercise discipline is to stop lying to women and creating this expectation that you're not going to have multiple women in the first place, because there's this idea that somehow it's like a lack of self-discipline, and it's literally not. It's just not the case. It's like we're wired differently than y'all are wired, and it's like I'm trying so hard to get that across, because I think y'all view it. It's like y'all are viewing it the way you view your sexuality, and because y'all aren't as driven by sexuality as we are, you're like, well, why can't you just control it? But mistaken your argument that you made about disciplining something for better health, one thing that you completely missed is that less sex doesn't create better health for men. It's actually shown that men that have less sex tend to have worse health, tend to have worse mental health. If you look at the people who end up being school shooters, the people who end up being rapists, the people who tend to be violent,
Easy with
I'm
the
sorry, grapists, the people who tend to be violent, they're often people who don't have access to consistent sex or the type of sex that they want. So this idea that it's disciplining men to not have sex is unhealthy. It's disciplined for men to get sex in a healthy way as regularly as possible, so that they don't end up having these mental and social issues. That's what I think. And the way to do that is we have to stop expecting men to lie to women, because that's really what we have. We have an expectation of men to lie to women. Most men are not monogamous, but daily they're expected to tell a woman that they will be as a means to express their love. And I think when women stop expecting that as a means of love expression, I think that's when we'll be able to move forward, because that's not what you're not going to get it. It's not realistic. But as long as you guys associate exclusivity with love, then men are going to continue to lie. And men are going to continue to tell you that, hey, I can be exclusive. And it's like, no, he's telling you that because he wants you. He's telling you that because he loves you. He's telling you that because he would like to believe that that's what he can do and that's who he is. But the reality is that it's an extreme struggle to the point where it will affect his happiness in the long run. Most of the guys who are super faithful, they're not happy. They're just not. They're faithful, sure. And yeah, they're not cheating on their wife, but they're grumpy. They're not happy. They're not excited. There's a certain zest and excitement for life that you can see in a man who has multiple women versus a man who doesn't. And you can see it as clear as day. This is why most of the time when you're having conversations with married men, they're complaining. Most married men are not, some are happy, but most of them, and when you're at the barbershop and when you're asking them about marriage, they're not screaming from the mountaintops how happy they are to only be banging their one wife. That's not what they're saying. What they're usually saying is, yo, play, I wish I was still out in the streets like you. Yo, play, man, I miss back in the days when because the reality is they do. I don't care how faithful he is. He misses the streets. He wants the streets. He desires the streets. So at the end of the day, men, just stop lying to women. Tell them the truth.
I think you misunderstood. When you talking about honesty, I think Miss Taylor was talking about.
But
Taylor was talking about discipline.
You do this a lot, Cloud. You take one thing and then try to go to the extreme with it or what have you. So yes, having sex is it does give health benefits to men, but anything done in the extreme can also have negative effects. And in looking at situations, why there's a need for discipline for men is that 9 times out of 10, when things go wrong with a man, there's probably a woman involved, right?
Got it.
And so that's where there's the need for the self-discipline when it comes to that, because a lot of the men's downfall has a lot to do with y'all not making disciplined
What does that tell you about women?
I try to help
you. What does that tell you about women then if their downfall is dealing with women?
Even further. All right, let's look at the things that happen when people be addicted to drugs, right? They'll risk their family, they'll risk their life savings, they'll risk their health, they'll risk their life. They put their job, all of these things are symptoms of an addiction. If you look at the things men risk in the pursuit of sex, they mirror each other. And it's not just one. A lot of men have done this, causing women who had the expectation that they were going to be monogamous and never to have that expectation. Once that world shatters, then the vindictive nature can come out because she feels aggrieved. Because like Cal said, men have been lying. I 100% agree with him. Men need to stop lying. If you are at a stage in your life where you could potentially be monogamous, say that. If you're not, say that also. Give women a choice and whether or not they want to deal with you or not on the terms that you realistically can live by. And then you got guys, you can't be afraid to lose the woman by telling her the truth. At the end of the day, that's what really all this shit boiled down to. If you don't give women a chance to walk away and be like, you know what, this is not for me, I'm not dealing with that, you're gonna lose women in the process. But you'll be better off by telling people the truth. And this is a new day and age. Some women actually understand and will work with you. And some women like women too. It's all types of new scenarios out here that you can move forward with. We don't have to continue to lie. If you keep lying, you'll keep finding yourself in a situation where you lose everything, trying to succumb and appease something that you aren't actually. Now, there are some men who potentially could be like that, but that's a very small, minute number, in my opinion. You know, from the men I've met in my life, they just naturally operate like that. And what you gonna say, Trey?
No, I was gonna say before I bring MJ in, I wanted to push a fun fact out there. And I just looked up quite a bit. It was from the other topic, but I looked up at the stats quite a bit, and it suggests that men don't often cheat. Right, the lowest I found was as low as 10%. The highest I found was in the 30s. Men typically don't cheat. The vast majority of men don't cheat and are completely capable of at least being in monogamous relationships, even if we could say that's not our nature or whatever, which could be possible. But men typically don't cheat, right? Like most men are able to function just fine with a single woman.